Arjun Malhotra had everything: a loving family, a thriving business, and a loyal best friend, Kabir. But one fateful evening shattered his world. As he entered his office, he found his father lying lifeless on the floor, a gunshot wound in his chest. The CCTV footage revealed the unthinkable: Kabir, the very man Arjun trusted with his life, pulling the trigger. His father's company was now in Kabir's hands, and Arjun was framed for embezzlement. As he was dragged away in handcuffs, the only thing keeping him from breaking was the fire of revenge burning in his soul. The next 5 years in prison hardened Arjun. Gone was the naive businessman, in his place stood a man with a single purpose: vengeance. He trained his body, sharpened his mind, and made allies in the criminal underworld. He uncovered the depth of Kabir's betrayal. His best friend had not only killed his father but had also manipulated Arjun's fiancée, Meera, into believing he was a criminal. The love of his life had abandoned him. But Arjun was patient. He would return, not as a broken man, but as a storm ready to destroy everything in his path. The day of Arjun's release arrived. The world thought he had disappeared, but he had only been waiting for the right moment. With a new identity and an empire built in the shadows, he re-entered society as Aryan Singh, a ruthless businessman with an enigmatic past. His first step: gaining entry into Kabir's world. He bought shares in Kabir's company under a proxy name, slowly infiltrating his enemy's kingdom. Arjun's revenge had begun, and this time, he would not fail. Arjun orchestrated Kabir's first downfall by sabotaging a multi-million-dollar deal. Kabir was blindsided when his investors pulled out at the last minute, leading to massive losses. Panic set in as the company's stocks plummeted. But this was only the beginning. Arjun wanted Kabir to feel the same helplessness and despair he once did. While Kabir struggled to save his business, Arjun made his next move, re-entering Meera's life. He needed to know where her loyalties truly lay. Meera had moved on, or so she thought. When she saw Aryan Singh, something about him felt eerily familiar. He was colder, more intense, yet his eyes held the same pain she once saw in Arjun. When they finally spoke, Arjun revealed nothing but planted seeds of doubt. He made her question everything she believed about Kabir. As she started digging into the past, Meera uncovered the shocking truth: Kabir had manipulated her, and Arjun had been innocent all along. Guilt consumed her, but Arjun was far from forgiving her. She had been part of his downfall, and now, she would be part of his revenge. Kabir's empire was cracking. His business was crumbling, his trusted allies were abandoning him, and Meera, the woman he controlled, was slipping away. As Arjun pulled the strings from the shadows, Kabir became desperate. He launched investigations into the mysterious Aryan Singh, sensing a hidden enemy. But every lead turned into a dead end. Arjun had learned from his past mistakes. This time, he left no trace. As Kabir fought to regain control, Arjun prepared for the next devastating blow. Arjun used Meera to feed Kabir false information. Believing her to still be under his control, Kabir followed a misleading trail that led him into a legal trap. A government probe into financial fraud exposed his company's illegal dealings, forcing him into a courtroom battle. His once loyal board members turned against him, leaving him isolated. Meanwhile, Arjun ensured that Kabir knew exactly who was behind his downfall. A single anonymous note on Kabir's desk read, "Your sins have come home to roost." A.M. Cornered and humiliated, Kabir became desperate. He sought out his underground connections, hoping to uncover Aryan Singh's true identity. He even reached out to Meera, pleading for her loyalty. But she had changed. The doubt and guilt planted by Arjun had grown into full-blown rage against Kabir. She refused to help him, driving him further into paranoia. With no one left to trust, Kabir lashed out in reckless aggression, making more enemies than allies. Arjun's patience was paying off, his enemy was slowly destroying himself. Arjun orchestrated Kabir's financial ruin. One by one, his assets were seized, his properties taken, and his debts exposed. Kabir, once the king of the business world, was reduced to nothing. But Arjun was not done. He wanted Kabir to suffer the way he had suffered. Using his influence, he ensured Kabir's arrest for financial crimes. As Kabir sat in a jail cell, his empire turned to dust. He finally realized the horrifying truth: Aryan Singh was Arjun Malhotra. Arjun visited Kabir in prison. The moment their eyes met, the color drained from Kabir's face. "You took everything from me," Arjun said, his voice calm yet venomous. Kabir, now powerless, could only beg for mercy. But Arjun had none left to give. "This is justice, not revenge," Arjun whispered, walking away as Kabir broke down in despair. As Karan's revenge unfolds, Raghav starts to sense an invisible enemy closing in on him. His business partners abandon him, his allies betray him, and his political connections refuse to help. Every time he tries to regain control, another devastating blow strikes. Desperation sets in as Raghav struggles to find the mastermind behind his downfall. Meanwhile, Karan watches from the shadows, knowing he is getting closer to delivering the final strike. But just when everything seems to be going in his favor, an unexpected obstacle threatens to derail his carefully laid out plan. Karan had thought his plan was foolproof, but he hadn't accounted for betrayal from within. One of his closest allies, someone he trusted, sells him out to Raghav. The villain, now aware that Karan is behind his suffering, launches a counterattack. Karan's hideout is raided, and he barely escapes with his life. The betrayal stings, but he refuses to let it break him. Instead, he uses it as fuel to push forward, determined to end Raghav once and for all. But time is running out, and he must make his final move before Raghav regains his strength. With his options dwindling, Karan decides to confront Raghav directly. He orchestrates a final, elaborate trap, one that will leave no room for escape. Raghav, now at his weakest, walks into the trap, believing he still holds power. But Karan reveals the truth: every ruin, every downfall, and every moment of despair Raghav faced was Karan's doing. The villain's arrogance shatters as he realizes he has lost everything. Karan gives him a choice: confess to his crimes and rot in prison or suffer a fate worse than death. Raghav, proud and vengeful, refuses to surrender. Karan has waited for this moment for years, but now that it's here, he hesitates. He could kill Raghav and end it all, but would that truly satisfy his thirst for justice? Instead, he ensures that Raghav is exposed publicly, stripped of his wealth, and left powerless. The law finally catches up, and Raghav is sentenced to life in prison. But Karan knows that true revenge is not just about punishment, it's about ensuring the guilty suffer in a way they fear the most. Raghav, once feared by all, now lives in disgrace, a mere shadow of his former self. With Raghav destroyed, Karan should feel victorious. But revenge is a double-edged sword, it leaves scars on both sides. As he stands at the crossroads of his life, he questions whether he has truly won. The ghosts of his past still haunt him, and the weight of his actions is heavy. Did he find justice, or did he become the very monster he swore to destroy? In the end, Karan walks away, not as a hero, not as a villain, but as a man who has carved his own fate in blood and fire. Thank you for joining us on this magical journey through the heart of the village. We hope this story has shown you the beauty and mystery that can be found in everyday life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this tale with your friends. Who knows what other secrets we will uncover in the next adventure?